All right, welcome into another edition of America's Hometown Horror. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Mike, I'm your host, and as always, we have a jam-packed episode with a whole bunch of horror-related things to talk about, so why don't we jump right the fuck in and get our housekeeping things out of the way. First and foremost, if you like our show, and you are interested in following our show online, here's where you can do so. The first place is ahpod.com, which is AHHPOD.com. That's our website. We have, all sorts of things, including you can listen to our show. You can also follow our blog, which we'll be updating more and more throughout the year. I keep saying that, and it's going to happen eventually.
No, okay, I know. It starts strong, and then all of a sudden you're just like, I kind of burn out again.
The excitement started out, and then we were like, but okay, we got to find time to do it. But anyway, my resolution. Yes, okay.
I know. There you go.
You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all the usual social media platforms. Just search for America's Hometown Horror Podcast, and you'll find it. You can also email us at hometownhorrorpodcast@gmail.com if you want to contact us directly with feedback or whatever else you want to say. And also, last but not least, I want to mention our two partners in crime, first of which is Horror Facts Magazine, which you can find at horrorfacts.com, a great resource for any horror fan. They have think pieces, editorials, reviews, news, other horror podcasts, and our podcast. Head on over to horrorfacts.com and check them out over there. And last but certainly not least, you can head over to Fangoria, the first name of fright since 1979. Go to shop.fangoria.com. and use the code /hometown horror pod, I should say. Or you can use the code hometown horror pod at checkout for an exclusive 20% discount to get 20% off any merchandise, hats,
mittens.
Do they have mittens?
They have
and first-time magazines.
Do they have kitten mittens?
Kitten mittens? No, I don't think so.
No
but maybe in the future they will. So anyway, head to shop.fangoria.com /hometown horror pod or use the code hometown horror pod at checkout for an exclusive 20% discount at Fangoria in the new year. If you love horror, trick yourself out with some fresh-ass Fangoria merch. And that's what I have to say about that. And with that being said, welcome into another edition of Found Footage February.
First edition, right?
Second year in a row.
Oh, that's true,
you weren't here for it last year, Matt, but I'm joined by my fellow co-hosts, Matt, Andrew, and Kat. Gentlemen, hello.
Good evening.
I had a hard time. It's
February.
February.
Now, what's with the roux?
Every time I write February, it's February.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Story checks out.
Yeah.
So you spelled it the correct way every time.
No, I like say it to myself when I write it down.
It's like Wednesday. I say
Wednesday.
Yes.
It's like comfortable. I say come for table.
Come for table.
Come for the table.
Come on the table.
Come for the table, Andrew.
That's not the right word.
If you want your dinner, you got to come for the table.
Come for the table, everybody.
What weird cult is like?
I don't know, but we're starting off strong.
Right out of the gate. I love it.
98 miles an hour.
So, ladies and gentlemen, how we doing, everybody?
Fastball.
Everybody doing good? I can see we're all in good spirits here.
Doing lovely.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Ready to kick off Found Footage February Part 2 in spades and have a good time?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Mike, I just want you to carry me upstairs to our... It's a line from The Last of Us.
Okay, so actually...
That was a nice pause, Mike.
I hope they got the gulping
I
of the beer.
didn't know how I was supposed to respond to that.
You were supposed to say whatever you'd like on your last day.
On your last day, yes, of course. So we will get to a bunch of things before we kick off Found Footage February with discussion of our movie tonight. But just a couple of reminders, horror fans out there, for the upcoming horror releases. There's a lot coming if you are a fan of horror movies. First of which, the biggest thing, we're recording this on January 31st. As of Thursday, February 2nd, you can watch one of the most highly anticipated horror movies, Skinamarink, is going to be on Shudder on Thursday, February 2nd. And I personally cannot wait to watch it.
Oh.
I'm going to watch it Friday.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
Well, you have something else to do Thursday night.
I mean, I'm home with the baby on Thursday. I was going to watch it, but I know, Kat, you want to watch it too, so we can watch it together.
Well, you can watch it Thursday.
We could. Or we could watch it. Or we could see what happens. I wanted to see this movie in theater so bad, but did not work out.
Which we have decided that we are definitely... We're seeing Blood and Hunters.
Oh, absolutely.
Winnie the Pooh.
Did you see that got extended from a 1-day release to 9-day release now?
It's going to be in Kingston.
Just for that Wednesday.
So we're going to get a babysitter for that. We're all going to go see that.
That's the day after Valentine's Day. It's the 15th.
That may be worth looking into a...
It would be really funny if I convinced Sarah to go out on a
Valentine's Day
date, and I don't tell her that that's what we're doing, and then,
And
we just meet you guys in the food court.
She's like, mother!
Yeah, she's like, you gotta be fucking kidding.
I feel like of all the movies she would watch, that would probably ruin her life.
So
she'd be pissed.
This is another one of the movies, another movie that I've avoided trailers for. So let me ask you this. Is it people in Winnie the Pooh and Piglet in masks killing people?
No,
or is it actually supposed to be
looks
Winnie the
like
Pooh
they're
and
just
Piglet?
like deformed Piglet
Monsters,
and Winnie the Pooh, like they've been neglected for too long and they've become feral.
Okay, so
that's
see that I
cool.
like. I like that better. I like that better.
I haven't seen any trailers.
Dude,
I think just maybe one.
when he's chasing Christopher Robin around the 100-egg Christopher Robin's just like
I
crying
can't
and
wait. I
tearing
think it's
up.
gonna be
Oh my god, he looks so
awesome.
sad because you're about to get me the Pooh.
Well, so
Some mackerel of your blood.
I know, I want to know if he talks.
I know, and he should talk. And it
I
has to
hope
be
so.
just like that. It can't be any other.
Oh,
It's just
yeah.
like, oh bother.
Yeah.
So
It's like a Leatherface and like Winnie the Pooh mixed.
Kat's been watching a lot of Winnie the Pooh, the original cartoon from
Well,
Disney in the
get ready.
70s.
No,
just
Bridget.
with our daughter
Like-
in general. But
just
I think
a
also
little
Kat's been
black
secretly
rain
preparing for this.
cloud.
We're watching the many
Pew,
adventures of
pew,
Winnie the
pew,
Pooh.
pew.
Yeah.
So
Oh my god, I love Winnie the Pooh.
I
So-
love Winnie the Pooh too. I've told Mike to watch Christopher Robin. Have you watched Christopher Robin?
The movie?
The movie, like
the one
with Ewan
like,
McGregor?
McGregor? No. It looked horrifying.
It's so
Really?
It's very
That's
hard.
what you said, yeah.
It made me. I teared up watching them because I love Winnie. Off topic.
Kat and Andrew do share quite a bond over Winnie the Pooh.
Yes.
I guess so.
It was something that I watched when I was young. I never had quite
a
the
problem.
connection that these two do. I
I
have
love
to say.
Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, I was into it.
Kat and
when I was a
Andrew do hold certain connections that I'm just like, wow, you two.
That's
you
why
connect
we
over
get
certain
along.
things.
We
Yep,
love and hate
absolutely.
each other.
Yep. So again,
I thought I really loved
Skinamarink Dinky Dink will be on Shudder on February 2nd, which is a Thursday. And, we were also talking about Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, which will be in theaters the following week, and we may cover that in February. We shall see.
Not to be confused with Cloudy the Pooh, Windy the Pooh.
Also, Andrew, I think we were talking about this the other day. So the new M. Night Shyamalan movie based on a book
I
by
heard
Paul
that's
Tremblay, who's a
very good.
Massachusetts guy. Knock at the Cabin is coming out on Friday, February 3rd.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and as well.
I would like to see it.
It's been a while since he's come out with a movie. I
think-
like The Visit. I thought The Visit was underrated.
I actually like the Visit.
And I
too.
actually
Yeah.
kind of like Split and
Yeah, I like
Glass,
Split.
to be honest, which are unpopular.
I don't think I saw Glass.
What about Unbreakable?
Yeah, but that's like... I'm saying since then.
Yeah.
Obviously, Unbreakable, Signs.
I've always
I like The
liked-
Village.
I like the
After
Village.
that, though, it was shit. It was like The Happening. There was so many garbage movies like in between.
The Happening,
do
The
Old?
Village,
I like
Lady
the
in the
Village.
Water,
Lady in the Water was trash. I like The
think
Village.
I
I thought The
kinda
Village was
like
good.
Did he?
Avatar, The Last Airbender.
I like Avatar. I think I like
he do Old?
M. Night Shyamalan.
No.
I haven't watched that.
M. Night Shyamalan didn't
do
do
that, yeah.
Did
didn't
you
do
watch it?
James Cameron's Avatar. He did
No.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I know, but I haven't seen it, but I liked the...
The first one. That
She's
was the
talking
first
about
one.
Avatar.
Yeah.
You're talking about James
No.
Cameron.
Avatar: The Last Airbender was a Nickelodeon
Cartoon.
anime cartoon.
Oh.
Yes. No. You're thinking of James Cameron's Avatar.
I
like
hate
James
that movie.
Cameron.
It might
I
not
did.
be
Trash.
just because I feel like someone's gonna jump down my throat. I don't know if that was anime or not. Sorry.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
It was definitely a cartoonish.
it for sure
Ron
looked like
thing.
anime to me.
Yeah, I'm not sufficient.
I'm not
enough
gonna-
to-
I don't wanna-
I can't claim to know what anime is.
Yeah, I don't caught up.
All right.
Someone will beat us up.
Fair enough. Well, last but certainly not least, I have to mention that. So this is the first. Our first week of Found Footage February. Next week, Matt and I are going to a special advanced screening of another highly anticipated horror movie this year called The Outwaters, which is also found footage. We're going to see it in Salem at Cinema Salem this coming Thursday night, which is also February 2nd. You could watch Skinamarink and The Outwaters.
Wow.
So yeah, we're making the trek up to Salem. This is a special screening held exclusively in Salem by Screambox TV, which is owned by Bloody Disgusting, and
Is this invite only?
we're gonna be able. No, you can buy tickets. You can still
It would
buy
have been
tickets, I
cooler if it
believe.
wasn't.
They sent us the
Technically,
information
we
form.
weren't.
so
We
that's-
were invited by them. I mean, it wasn't a
Let's
direct
not forget to
invitation.
say that. We are pretty cool.
We're
we
on
were
their
invited.
email
We were
list.
invited. And what I will say is that this is another highly anticipated movie, which has been called, I should say, one of the scariest movies in recent memory. I can't wait to see it. And Matt, I'm personally very excited to see it with you because I know that this advanced screening that we're getting. So not only are we seeing the movie, but apparently Tim Erickson, who is the musician that made all the music for this, will be on hand for an introduction, also perform his song called How Come That Blood from the film. There'll also be giveaways, all sorts of other things. So
I wonder if Rob Banford.
Guess we shall see.
Andy's in it as well.
Yeah, this is one of those movies where it's like the director and the writer is in the movie. So I can't. I actually, this is another one that I haven't seen the trailer for at all. I can't wait to see.
Make sure you guys network.
I was going
Oh,
to
we
say,
certainly
do
will.
we
Yes,
need...
we will. I think we still have plenty
that
of
would be a good
them.
idea. With the QR code on?
I think we still have plenty of them. So, first week of Found Footage February, we'll be talking about this movie tonight. And next week, at least Matt and I should say, we'll be talking about The Outwaters. So I'm stoked. I can't wait to see this movie. I can't wait to see it in that environment. It's going to be really, really so. That's what I'm saying. Anywho, Andrew, I'll take one too. Sure. Guys, let's talk about The Last of Us Episode 3. Because I know we committed to talking about this show each and every week, because I know we're all watching it, which is a good thing. So, would anyone like to lead off? Kat, how about you? Yes.
I liked it.
Right on, indeed.
Do you expect anything else from her? Just three-word answer.
Do you
There
guys
you go.
watch them on Sunday night?
I watched
No.
this one on Sunday night. This is the
No.
first
Have
time
you
I
watched
watched
any
it.
of
With the
Too late.
baby, no, we
Too
can't.
late. No. I'm in bed by 8. No.
Football's taken over my Sundays.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
And it was,
Same for us.
just like, it was too much. Like, on Sunday, we watched football, and I was happy that we watched football, so I was like, I didn't even finish the football game. Never mind to watch
Hey,
the rest of
Muttley,
the
shut up over there.
Last of Us, so, I mean, I wasn't about ready to watch
Well,
anything after that.
I was just curious if you guys were like watching them like every
You missed it. You missed it by about... You literally went to bed, and 30 seconds later, the Chiefs kicked a field goal in the game. So you didn't miss much, but...
I was just like, I need to go to bed. I got to the point where
I
it was like 7:30, and I was like, I need to go to bed. And then I stayed up later and later, and I'm like, I was like, I hate days.
Between
Like, at night, I'm
hangovers
like,
and
oh.
having a baby, it's very tough to stay up past a certain point.
On a Sunday.
Yeah,
I mean,
Sunday
that's
morning-
That's hard.
Which
Sunday
makes me
until,
feel
like,
so
3
old.
is sick. And then like 4 o'clock rolls around and it's definitely like Sunday scary time.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, dude.
Your Sunday scaries, you start to snooze, you're like, all right, I'm all set. Okay, let's just get Monday on. Roll
The
on.
faster we
like,
get into Monday, the quicker we can get to Saturday.
Exactly.
So.
All right, so Kat liked this episode of Last of Us, and obviously we all like this show too.
Well, I'm just going to say that I really, really like it because I know you guys will elaborate on most of it. So
Sure.
that's right. I really, really liked it.
Okay.
I thought it was good. I love.
Where do you rank it amongst the 3 episodes? Because I'm sure you
I don't
really,
wanna
really
rank
liked all of
things. I
those.
hate I don't want to. No, I don't. Because it's all tied together. So you really rank episodes. I do love what's his face from Parks and Rec.
Nick Offerman.
Nick Offerman, yeah.
He's
Ron
amazing.
Swanson.
I love
He's great.
him. And then I liked what's his face from White Lotus, the other guy. That was
His name
Murray?
is Murray something. I forget his name.
He
Lives in P-Town, by the way.
The both of them were awesome. I loved them.
The
And I
acting in
loved
this
them as-
episode was superb.
It was great.
Yep.
It was awesome. So, and I love Joel's character. Like, I love Joel's character, and I like Little's character
Ellie.
too. Ellie. I like all the characters so far, and that's what's kind of. It's the same as The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead had, which is what drives me crazy that I kind of like, and I don't like this whole series because I'm like, it's so much like The Walking Dead, even to the stupid logo that's like.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's exactly like The Walking Dead.
I can't
And
comment
it's
because I've never seen The Walking Dead.
Stupid. It's stupid that it's that close
Like the
in line
font?
to it.
Is
Yes.
it?
I
Yes.
agree.
No,
It
the
is.
font.
It is this-
So
yes.
the show is the
Are
closest
you
to the
kidding
show
me?
just because of the
No,
font.
just
No,
there's
no,
like,
no,
there's like a
credits.
stylization
Yeah.
to it.
The
Yeah,
look,
yeah.
the
I was like, the
stylizing,
fonts.
the whole thing. When we
feel like I'm
started, I was
far
like,
away.
oh my god, I'm watching The Walking Dead all over again. And
Is it similar?
Yes, a million times it's similar.
So-
A million times.
Here's the difference.
The
From what
difference is the walkers, the people that are infected. That's the biggest difference,
Well-
and that there could potentially be a cure.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, there was also potentially a cure in The Walking Dead as well. But I think the
Not
biggest
really.
difference for me so far is that the creators of the video game and the show have both said this is not going to be 9 or 10 seasons. They have an end game in
Thank
mind. This
God.
is probably only going to be a 2-season show, which
I love that.
There's
Thank God.
only 2 games.
golf
Right?
clap.
Just make a good show for what it is.
They said,
why do we need more than
so
that?
I
just want one season.
I think
to
the
be
latest
honest.
thing that I saw was that they might be able to get 2 seasons out of the second game. So at the very most, it might be 3 seasons, which... Okay, sure. Yeah. End after 3 seasons. I don't need 9. I don't need 10.
Or 20.
Yes, I don't need 5 spin-offs.
Stupid,
I don't need any of it.
They're making all these, but can I get a 3rd season of Mindhunter?
Right? Yeah,
Right?
I know.
Yeah.
It's not too much to ask for. Talk to David Fincher. Personally, so
what up, Dave?
Kat, to go off what you were saying, I think this is probably the best acting of Nick Offerman. He is a good comedian, good actor. He's very good in Parks and Rec. Obviously, that's what people know him for. But he actually has done a lot of dramatic roles on TV. He was actually a very good character in the 2nd season of Fargo on FX. I don't know if anybody else watched that show. It's a good show. He's very good in that. But I mean, he's just a good actor in general. And I feel like he's just kind of widening his range because he's playing, like, at first, the type of character that you come to expect from Nick Offerman. Watching him play Ron Swan, like a libertarian, like, world defender, bunker, conspiracy theory, like, I'm going to survive this apocalypse by myself type thing.
Manly man. Doing, he's hunting, he's gathering, he's cooking
also,
his own, like, just everything is just being, like, he's eating meat. Like,
That's the same as Parks and Rec, though.
Yeah,
It's kind of funny.
And then,
I was waiting for him to pour himself a glass of whiskey. What's the whiskey?
Dude, he was well drunk with all the wine that he had.
In the Louis Jadot wine.
Dude, some of the Louis Jadot wine that he had. Kat immediately saw the label. She's like, ooh, boy. But I mean, like, so then all of a sudden, the story kind of turns on its head a little bit, and it becomes, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this episode yet, which don't listen anymore, but I mean, one of my personal favorite episodes of Black Mirror was the San Junipero episode. It was different. It was a cool, still sci-fi twist, but it told a different type of story, and I feel like this is that episode of The Last. And Andrew and I were talking about this earlier. I don't think every episode of this show... A lot of people might think this is going to be like a balls-to-the-wall zombie. I think this is
It hasn't really been that to this
much
point, though.
more about drama than a lot of zombie shows or apocalyptic shows that we're used to. I think there's going to be a lot of acting with a capital A in this show, and I think this was the first episode to kind of show that off because there were 2 characters in this episode that aren't going to be in any more episodes of the show.
Yeah.
Again, spoiler.
They could. That's not true. They could
more
do.
flashbacks.
They got Tess into this episode, even though she had died.
They were
so
never
they could
actually alive in this current timeline
but you
with
have
Joel
to feel
and Ellie,
like they're going to,
which is wild.
They're definitely going to put them in more episodes.
They will.
You're going to have Bill's definitely.
See, I don't
be
think
in
so.
At least another,
I don't think so.
Like in a flashback scene, you don't think so?
No.
Flashbacks? I mean, how many
Not
more
for
flashbacks?
them. I think Tess might be, but
how many more flashbacks would do the story justice to go back to where? Because I feel like they're going to keep going throughout. They're going to keep going across the country, right?
And I think that there'll be flashbacks.
They're going to go
for
linear
Tess
but
because
parallel
of
at the same time.
Maybe. I mean,
That's
maybe
the
you're
same
right.
word.
I hope I'm wrong. But anyway, I thought it was a good story. It was obviously a very heart-wrenching story, which the people that have played these games and know this story have told you, like, this is going to be a heart-wrenching story. And I feel like this is one of the first storylines of many to kind of pull on your heartstrings. And it was a good story. It was a sad story. And, I mean, I understand where people might say that it didn't necessarily advance the plot, but I think that the showrunners wanted to do something different here.
It's going to
which I respect.
It's going to be very much like The Walking Dead. It'll be character-based. You're going to like these characters. They're going to hurt.
But you would think that if you're gonna put this much effort into a character, you should have them in. Because if they don't, then it's just a filler episode. So
it's a big turning point for Joel as well.
Yeah, because he kind of
now he's got a vehicle. He's got basically a home base.
Yeah,
right.
But they could have done that in 5 minutes.
Dude, all those guns
it seemed unnecessary.
that they didn't take. I was like, oh, dude, throw those.
It was extremely well done. It seemed like a filler episode because they want to make sure that... How many episodes are they trying to get out of this?
I think they're trying to do 9 or 10.
Yeah. So this is their way of getting 10 episodes.
So they
if they continue to just elongate certain... No, there will. That's what I'm saying. They're going to do...
For the first season.
There's going to be at least 2 more of these type of episodes somewhere along the way.
But they're going to do a layup for another
Which is
episode.
fine. When I watched it
They're
the
gonna set
second
you up
time,
for
because I
something
watched
else.
this episode twice, because I watched it the first time, and I was like kind of disappointed because I was expecting one of those like intros where a different city and something crazy happens.
Well, that's
and
what happens at the beginning. It almost
Yeah.
like you have that like when she sees all the skeletons in the ground.
Yeah.
and then you see the woman holding the baby with that blanket that you see, and you're like, where the fuck are we going to go with this? So,
and then
which, by the way, 10 miles east or west of Boston.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. That's not... Even if you were in like the Mountains,
the writers clearly have never been to Wellesley, Massachusetts.
No. Hold on one second. All right, so
I was even thinking like Blue Hills, Andrew, and I'm like, those are hills, not mountains.
Wait. So obviously, if you're listening to the show, you may not necessarily know where America's hometown is. We're located in Massachusetts. Plymouth, Massachusetts, okay?
That's why we're America's hometown.
We're about 40
America's
minutes
hometown
south of Boston.
40 minutes
traffic.
south of Boston. So we know where Boston is. We know where 10 miles west of Boston is.
And you had someone on the podcast who grew up in Boston.
Yeah, I know, yes. And Kat is from Boston originally, as she constantly reminds us.
19 years of my life.
Yes. Yep. This show, my only criticism of it is that it does a terrible job of depicting Boston. The
only thing I can say is I'll give them the benefit of the doubt is that they're depicting a Boston that was destroyed 20 years ago.
That's how they get away with it, though, because everything looks destroyed. Like they still have like the gold flecks from like.
The State House looked terrible.
There, but it doesn't look anything like
that. That doesn't even matter. There's no giant mountains 10 miles.
That stupid fake Boston Museum.
The skyscrapers don't look like the hand.
And also, you know what else?
Like, they don't even look like.
No, but
I haven't seen a Dunkin' Donuts yet, so it's not Boston.
Well, obviously, the biggest thing.
Cumberland Farms.
The biggest thing that we did, which I feel like is even. You know what? It's popular. I feel like it's more. I actually respect them more for giving a Cumberland Farm reference.
Right.
Than I do to
Dunkin' probably was charging him too much money.
Maybe, but dude, also Dunkin's a fucking. But yes, of course, yeah, they're
Dunkin'
headquartered. I mean,
Dunkin'
I go there every day.
Why? What do you like better?
I go there every day.
I get coffee.
Wow.
Or at work.
Okay, well,
I used to get Dunkin',
doesn't count.
but then I started drinking real coffee.
Yeah, like homemade coffee.
Do you do like?
I'm being a pretentious coffee guy.
I want to know now.
I didn't know Craig was here. No.
Are you hot coffee or cold coffee?
It depends.
Wow.
Oh, you
that's all I need to know right there.
He's a seasonal guy, but that's not a flopper. It's hot or it's cold.
But it's like morning time.
You're a flip
I'm gonna
flopper
drink a hot coffee. But if I'm gonna get another coffee in the daytime,
I go by mood.
It's an iced coffee, especially in the summertime.
I rather
I
prefer an iced coffee if I'm working in the car all day.
All right. Hold on, wait.
It can melt
We're all
and
four
it
of us
still
talking
tastes
right
good.
now.
Hot coffee when it gets cold is not very good.
It's terrible.
Oh,
iced coffee when everything melts, because I'll have like my iced coffee for like 6 hours.
So when it's watered down.
It's watered down. It's still pretty good. Still tastes like a coffee.
It depends.
Oh, I'll drink it. I'll finish my coffee. It'll take 6 hours, but I'll finish
it. If I'm getting an iced coffee, it's gone.
Me too.
I
slam. Yeah.
I save it. I try to save it.
Yeah, I'm a sipper.
I'll get a cold brew with no ice.
You got me that large ice.
That's because I need to have a drink with my cigarettes, so I'm like timing it out. I'm like, I can get like 7 cigarettes out of a large coffee.
Oh my god!
Jesus H Christ! Are you serious? That is
your heart's going to explode.
No, but that's over the course of like 7 hours.
That's a cigarette an hour, and then.
Well, no, it's 4 cigarettes between 6:30 and 8 o'clock in between, and then it's 1 cigarette on the way to the next job, and then a break. Like I smoke all my cigarettes as soon as I wake up.
Judgment free there. It's okay. I understand. It's all right.
Sorry.
I think what we're trying to say, people that aren't from the New England or Massachusetts area, is that Dunkin' Donuts is a pain in the ass, but it's a staple of our existence. Cumberland Farms, actually, good convenience. Good.
I fucking hate.
Oh my god! Download the app, get the rewards.
Dude, that place is busy. That place is busy.
And they actually have good coffee too.
Oh, but they're busy.
And
their coffee's actually not bad. I was going to say
it's a dollar.
Also, Mike, if you're going to buy a 12-pack of Miller Lights, you're better off going to Cumberland Farms instead of the liquor store. It's $4 more at the liquor store.
I'm not surprised by that. Yeah,
it was like $13 at Cumberland Farms, or it's $17.
No.
What liquor store?
Plaza?
Plymouth.
Plymouth Liquors or Plaza?
Oh, dude, I go to the one near Stoppies.
Plaza.
Yeah, that one's fine.
We go to that one. That's our other one. Yeah.
We go.
Anyway,
none of this is relevant.
All right, so one thing I was going to say. So obviously, if you watch the preview for next week, we can see that Melanie Linsky is coming into the fold as a new character. So we're gonna. It looked a lot more action heavy. Obviously, Melanie Linsky, 2.5 Men, Yellow Jackets, a bunch of other shit. Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So I'm excited to see her come into the fold in this show, and I have a feeling, Andrew, that it's going to be an action episode next week to kind of make up for the fact that it was a little bit slow.
That's fine. Upon watching it the second time, I really appreciated the love story that it was. It was just a bit jarring when it first came because I was like,
"What's going on?"
Expecting something more violent, but there was plenty of good violent scenes. And actually, the more that I've watched the show, there's really not that much violence throughout the show. All in all, it's mostly
It is, yeah.
I think this is supposed to be more so of what the effect of the situation does people.
Yeah.
The last of.
I mean, it's almost horror. This is almost horror adjacent.
Well,
it's The Walking Dead.
See, I never.
No. That's oversimplifying
The acting
it. Yes,
I feel like substantially better.
Yeah, I think so.
I haven't seen it, but I'm going to go with their
Listen,
opinion
I
over
saw
yours,
that dude Rick yelling inside of a prison in season 3 at his dead wife. And I was like, all right, fuck this show, dude. This show is fucking lit. That episode.
I know what you're saying. It did used to be a good show at some point.
I feel like these zombies are more unique. I don't even know what The Walking Dead's about.
They're not even zombies.
They're not.
They're
infected.
They're mushrooms.
Yeah. They're
toadstool
beings.
Again, it's way more interesting. It's way more interesting.
It's a bunch of toadstools.
This
like a Mario
new episode,
prequel.
I didn't watch it until yesterday. I usually watch the episodes on Monday when I get work.
Makes sense.
And this one, I knew going into it that it was supposed to be. I saw a lot of tweets about it. One of the main ones that I remembered specifically was HBO took a home run swing and they hit it 9,000 feet out of the. Another one was that who knew you would see a show based on a video game about an apocalyptic horror issue end up having an episode about the fucking prelogue of the movie Up, and they nail it.
Yeah.
Shit like that. And I was like,
literally.
So I was like, okay, interesting. And a lot of people were like, hey, it's my buddies, I'm watching it in a group chat that I'm in, they're all like, it's fucking sad.
It was sad. Yeah, it was definitely sad.
So I was interested in how it was going to go, and that it just that whole storyline keeps going, and it was sweet. It was nice to watch, and dude, if you watched that and you didn't get to the end, you were that's so fucking upsetting.
It was funny. It was funny to see almost how reluctant Nick Offerman's character was. Bill, right? Bill.
Yeah.
How reluctant he was to anything at first, and the first time he kisses Frank.
Yeah.
He looks so awkward. He's just
well, he had only
but it was
just one other person.
I know, but he said that, right? So that's also sad because he clearly has lived a long life, and this is
so. Can we just assume? Can we assume that this is his parents' house? That they died in, and then
mother's
he took
house,
it over.
Mother's piano.
Right,
because
it's
mother's house.
And you see pictures of them throughout the house.
And then
he's
they have
lived there his entire life.
Yes.
And just turn it into this weird bunker, which good for him because
that's the thing. It's he's alone, and it's just this was his.
That's all he knows.
It's just that. There are so many people in the world that just yearn for any sort of fucking human.
I mean, I gotta say, to be honest, one of the best.
It's sad.
One of the best parts of acting in this entire show was when Frank has arrived and he's making him dinner, and Bill comes out of the kitchen with 2 plates and the wine, and he's just kind of that look that he gives
awkward,
him.
Yeah.
It's very awkward, and it's very sad, and he just looks like a beaten down puppy dog, and he's just accept me, and then he even besmirches his own food. He's like, well, anything tastes good when you're starving, and that Frank just the whole time is just super charming.
No, you're awesome.
Super smitten and charming. And he's just for some reason just deeply in love with this lunatic.
Yeah.
Does that guy have daddy issues or is there something?
I mean, it's something, but I think he just was trying to survive. He clearly had a bunker set up. He was.
So were they both? So see, this is where is this really a love story? Or is this 2 guys manipulating each other and then they fall in love?
I don't think so.
I think it's any manipulation. I think
but there has to be. You don't fall in love that.
I think it's just the fact of they're both are you the last person I'm ever gonna see?
I actually thought the most charming part of the story.
So it's just desperation, more. They're mostly just trying to find someone, and it led to such a beautiful relationship.
Yeah, I was gonna say actually one of the most charming parts of the whole thing was that they're in bed hey, listen, whore. I'm going to stay for 3 years later.
Right.
And they're arguing.
10 years later.
I just want to paint the house. God damn it.
Current day. And then it's okay, all right. So I just, in seeing the progression of their relationship, having been in a relationship for a long time.
Dude, and he survived.
I understand.
That was wild.
Well, that was the thing, too.
Well,
I thought that's where it was all
cool.
going to hit the fan.
Right.
And then, So.
Also, his traps on the perimeter of the fence, awesome. Crazy. Incredible. The fire traps, holy shit, those were fucking so cool. But yeah, I mean,
is this hold up?
No, we need to
program
move on.
or
No. I know. I was gonna say, but
I
yeah.
have a few things I got to talk about.
All right,
too,
so yeah, sorry, we got carried away. Listen, this was organic conversation. We're talking about The Last of Us episode 3. I mean, shit. I swear to God, this is not. This is not. Yeah, we talked about coffee too, and the Outwaters and Skinamarink and
Coffee talk.
yeah, all that shit.
Coffee talk.
Oh, so yeah, because I know one movie that you're going to talk about. But anyway, so we're going to talk about other things that we watched. I swear to God, this is not a last podcast, but other thing. So, Matt, I know you saw something very important this past weekend, so I'll kick it off to you. Yes.
This is like my
Let's
first
go.
big watch of the year. I got to see Infinity Pool. So this is Brandon Cronenberg's newest movie. He did Possessor in 2020, which was arguably the best fucking movie to come out of that year, other than it depends where you sit on that side of the fence.
Invisible Man's great. That
Possessor.
movie was very good too. Yep.
Yeah, that was my number one for 2020.
That's fucking so good movie.
And then, so I saw it. It's Alex Skarsgård, Mia Goth. They're the two main people in this. It's a wild fucking... So, it's very foreign. It's very European.
Don't give it all.
I'm going to tell you
That's
the
not gonna
general
be obvious.
plot.
Matt knows he won't give it away.
But they... it's very European, the way it's set up. The styling of the credits and everything. And very rare do you get to sit in a movie theater and have a warning come up. So that's always fun, saying, hey, there's a lot of flashing
like the
lights.
green warning?
No, like a warning. Being like, warning, this movie contains flashing strobing lights.
Oh.
And if you have epilepsy.
Okay.
Was
You can have
Lux
a t-shirt.
Eterna do the same thing?
Yeah. And so basically what this is about is this couple, Alex Skarsgård plays an author. And he is on a vacation in this fictional island off the Turks. His wife, where he's looking for inspiration to try and write a book after 6 years writing one. And trying to make some success. And he meets Mia Goth and her husband, and they convince them to kind of branch out of this resort area, which is not really recommended, but they do it anyway. And doing that, they get into some trouble. And basically what happens is, going into an imprisoning situation in this area, in this island, they're like, all right, well, the penalty is executed. So, but because you have such a high rank financially, you get an option where you can have yourself cloned and we can execute.
Okay.
And so he's like, okay, sure. And so the catch is that it's an incredibly euphoric experience to have yourself cloned and to watch your clone get killed. And they all kind of realize there's a small group of people that do this regularly because they get to just do it. And that's where the movie really starts to lose complete fucking control.
That's a cool
So it
concept.
wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I also had no idea what it was going to be at all. I went in very blind to this. I knew it was going to be really violent, which it was. One of the most violent movies I've seen in theaters since like Terrifier 2. Which Terrifier 2 I kind of like don't even include because that's so over the top. But this was like a real movie, like where
With
it was
over
like
the top scenes.
Yeah, it's violent as shit. A
He
lot
does
of
like
nudity.
it's like super like sci-fi like, body
It's
horror.
very not
Well,
not
Possessor
really. It's
was
very
kind of.
like it's very drug. It's very trippy.
Okay.
Let me ask you this before you go. Were there any cum shots in this week?
There is a cum shot.
I told
Yeah.
you. I heard it.
I'm also
I
wondering
heard
why
it.
Mike
I
is
heard it.
so curious about how many cum shots there are in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the third time you've mentioned it.
No,
Well,
yeah, no.
I had heard about it.
There's
so
a
I
lot.
wanted to
There's a
find
lot
out.
of
I
nudity.
heard about it, so I got excited about it.
I
very
watched the
good.
video
Yeah.
about it. I
This is one of the
practiced.
most adult movies I've ever seen in theaters.
Wanted to make sure I
There-
wasn't
it
being
is-
misled.
This is a hard R rating.
Yeah.
And I can see why it was originally. And apparently, there's going to be an original cut screening,
For NC-17.
limited. Yeah. And I'm sure they'll have a cut
That's
for it when it comes
wild.
out. It was good, and it was one of those movies that like I texted my buddy Mike about it yesterday. And I was like, so here's what I think ends up and it was like you sit and think about it, and then you kind of develop better ideas of how it goes. So I don't want to get too much into it because it is worth watching. It's 2 hours long, like almost flat.
What do you give it out of 10?
Like a 7.9.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I think I'm going to enjoy it a lot again watching it. And I think it's one of those movies. The more you understand, the better you'll like. So, but yeah, from first watch, I'll give it a 7.9. But I think this could end up being like an 8 point. So, Infinity Pool, Brandon.
Nice. You know what stinks too, by the way, is that Andrew found out after the fact that you were going earlier in the day to see
Yeah.
the movie, and he was like, "Oh fuck, I could have gone because I wasn't dog sitting later." And Andrew,
I just assumed it was a movie. Was that
I would have loved to have heard your opinion on this. So, all right,
I'll
Infinity
watch
Pool by Brandon Cronenberg, son of Matt. Anything else?
I did watch a movie called Megan is Missing.
Yes,
Getting into the found footage vibe. So this movie was like really, really, really fucked up and brutal. And its plot was, in terms of like being like you're going into it wanting like you're like, I'm gonna watch a fucked up movie today. It had all the elements you wanted to like get to, and like it's hard to watch. Like there's parts of it that are just awful and disgusting, but the acting and like the way it was made is very cheap, and so it really isn't a good movie. And you're putting yourself through such a fucking horrible plot of like having to watch awful things happen, especially to like younger people, that it's not worth it. Like it's
Yeah.
like
All right, I'll take
it's,
your advice
yeah,
on that.
It's
Yeah.
just like it's just such a bad movie that it's like it's
It
not
looks
like
horrible.
because you can watch like Last House on the Left and you're like, wow, this is really fucked up. But you're like, this is a fucking classic horror movie, and it has a statement to make. This is just fucking abhorrent for the like reason of being over the top.
Did you
And
watch
it's
the
just
trailer
bad.
for it,
Of
Kat?
course
Or
I did.
you
With
did?
that little like weird Barbie doll.
We're talking about.
She's talking about
You're
Megan.
thinking of Megan.
Megan.
No,
Of course
from
you are.
2016.
I was like, oh, you're thinking of
No,
Megan.
not-
Just
not-
Megan. Megan.
not that one. That's okay. All right, easy mistake.
the-
That's fine.
He said Megan is missing, not Megan.
Isn't that the movie?
That's an easy mistake.
No, they're two different movies.
No,
Oh,
Megan.
you
Megan.
didn't see the
Megan.
one with the
All right,
doll?
so Megan has already
that's
been
Megan,
out.
no.
It's now.
You
We
see
can.
the
I thought we cleared this up in the group chat.
I thought we
I
already knew
didn't
that.
read the
Yeah.
half of the message.
Yeah, but you
in the
responded
group chat.
inside of that to the question.
Yeah, I probably responded.
The
with
thing
the,
is,
like,
though,
"Dirt," like
I saw a lot of like art like pages that I follow like bring this movie up as like you only have so much time with this part of the movie, call it a day. And I was like, I kind of had Lake Mungo vibes
Oh,
going into it.
all right.
So that's why I watched it, and it's like about like two 14-year-old girls getting abducted. And so
I'm sure it
that's
doesn't end in a happy way.
No, and it's just like that's why I was saying like it's so fucking horrible content-wise that the quality of the movie doesn't hold up to make it even worth watching it. Because you're like you put yourself through this fucking miserable story, but it's like it's just bad. So you're like, well, what the fuck? Like now I just have this bad taste in my mouth for fucking, and it's like I didn't even get to be like, well, you know what? It was well made. Like the acting, it was believable. It was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So I was kind of bummed out. I was actually expecting it to be like pretty heavy. Sucked. So don't watch it.
Okay.
It's not worth
It's
it.
Megan is
At least
missing.
that's what I
and
don't
where
have to watch,
where
though.
could one find that movie? If they
I
wanted
rented
to?
it
Okay.
on VOD on Vudu for like.
You're losing money.
Yeah, no, that was the other thing. I was like, I spent $4.
Yeah.
Fucking piece of shit.
Well,
Waste.
anything else, Mon?
No.
Andy boy.
I've watched a few things. I watched, so I have a
That's
couple
like,
watches that aren't necessarily. I watched The Bombardment, which was actually really good. Netflix film.
Okay.
Danish film about, I think it's World War I or World War II. And
Oh,
it's
you
just-
told me about. Yep.
It's a very upsetting and just sad story. It's basically about this operation from United Kingdom's Royal Air Force, basically. They're going to do some sort of bombing on the capital city where there's Nazi, like, stronghold.
Yep.
And they bomb the wrong building. They end up bombing, like, a school
Full of
and killing a
children.
bunch of children.
Christ.
And it's such a sad, depressing story. So that's the horror theme in that. Is sad that.
Okay.
And then I watched this interesting little cult classic from 2009 starring Jim Caviezel, Outlander.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Did you ever
sure.
watch that movie?
I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Not
series?
Highlander.
Wait,
Otis might have seen it.
Outlander?
Not the
TV
series. No, a 2009 like B movie with a class budget. Jeff Bridges,
Really?
Jim Caviezel was in it, and it's basically
Interesting. I've never heard of this
It's Vikings versus Alien, basically.
What?
So Jim Caviezel crash lands on Earth in like the 800th century in like into like this Viking like colony.
Viking
colony, and his people had taken over a planet and killed all these like dragon creatures and took over their entire Earth, basically.
Existence.
But then one of the dragons got onto Jim Caviezel's spaceship. They were chasing. He crash landed. Creature trying to drive, and he's defending. It's almost like a Beowulf like origin story.
Interesting.
It's pretty good, pretty cheesy, terrible like CGI special effects, but well acted and a very interesting story. I would recommend watching it. It's pretty good. It's a nice
Okay.
little sci-fi like
Nice little sci-fi?
action like
nice little sci-fi movie.
and then
Yeah,
last
what
thing I
else?
watched was there's like this weird like YouTube like mockumentary called The Unknowable, and it's like it's
You had my attention at YouTube mockumentary.
Yeah, so it's like 11 3-minute episodes of like it's a mockumentary, but it's like a very old school documentary in the fact that there's no interviews. It's just a voiceover talking with like pictures of people and like this weird backstory that happens, and it's very cosmic horror. It's like basically this Wilcox family gets this like message, and he gets like in his dreams or something in his messages. So they move out to the Mojave Desert, this structure to contact like a portal for other universes and the aliens.
This sounds a lot like the movie we're going to see.
I know, I'm curious.
It's very. It was like a 42-minute documentary basically about. It's called The Unknowable, and it was very well done, and just like the voiceover was perfect. The way that they montage all the pictures, the story, the writing was very well done. And I was like, where did this fuck? I have no idea. I like read an article like online about it, and I was like, I'll check that out.
Okay.
Like,
all right, so I know it's called The Unknowable.
it's on The Unknowable.
Where can you watch it?
YouTube, and there's like 11 segments basically, and you have to watch each one individual. Yeah,
Okay.
and it's like 2 minutes and 45 seconds each one, and it's like 41 minutes total, and it's a very fun, easy, clean watch. And for what they're trying to do, they do a very good job of it.
Okay, excellent. The Unknowables. Hell fucking yeah.
Or The Unknowable.
The Unknowable. All
No
right.
ass.
Last thing I have, because I know we're waiting on Kat to come down so we can talk about this movie. Jesus Christ. Did you guys see, I know I posted it on the show Instagram, Facebook, the live footage of the giant squid close to the surface of the water a couple weeks ago?
No.
You didn't see this? Are you fucking kidding me? Dude, sea monsters are real, is all I'll say. As Kat brings down some chocolate chip cookies. But dude, like, you gotta see this video. It's the closest to the surface.
Is it a Humboldt?
Dude, it's the biggest sea animal you'll ever see in your entire life, and it is a kraken. It's a sea monster. It's fucking wild, absolutely insane.
Did you send the link?
No, I didn't. I should have, but anyway. All right, so that's what I got. I think we're on to Found Footage February, you guys. So why don't we pause a quick 90 seconds? Let's get a word from our sponsors. We'll be right aback.
It's official. The critics' decision is in.
Spooky World is spooktacular.
Enter the new black hole.
If you dare.
Or the new horror House of Wax. This year, don't miss the real Jason, Bobby Pickett, or Alice Cooper. Phone the 24-hour Spooky World hotline. 508-838-0200. That's 508-838-0200. Spooky World is just west of Boston and haunts every night from October 1st till November 1st. If you had the nerve, you'd phone 508-838-0200.
It's America's horror theme park. Spooky World.
Don't be scared. I'm the super sweet monster with the super sweet new cereal, Count Chocula.
Biffle, here's the super sweet new cereal, Frankenberry.
But I've got chocolate sweeties for monstrous chocolate flavor.
Well, I've got berry-flavored sweeties for monster strawberry flavor.
Count Chocula.
Frankenberry.
Hi.
Frankenberry.
Count Chocula.
Sleepy Clovers.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
The new face of evil is going to scare you to death. Barrett's Haunted Mansion. It's killer this year. Then be next door to the Abington Ale House. Barrett's Haunted Mansion. Eat, drink, and be scary. Go to bhmansion.com.
And we're back. Hello. It sure is. Guys, let me tell you something, all right? This is the second Found Footage February that we're going to do in a row. Let's talk about found footage for a little bit before we get into it, because I feel like there's honestly really not a lot, unless you disagree. Okay, Matt disagrees.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, this movie that we're going to talk about tonight, it's good, but I don't know if there's a ton to break. Anyway, found footage as a whole. I don't know if we actually talked about. I mean, we probably did, covering the movies this year.
I like slashers.
Guys, your thoughts on found footage overall as a subgenre of horror? Kat, let's start with you.
I like slashers, like I said when I intro.
I like turtles, yes, but
know.
what about
Yeah.
found footage?
I kind of hate found footage in a weird way. I mean, even like.
That's funny because I feel like
I don't like
some of your
Blair
favorite
Witch.
horror movies.
No, I don't really like Blair
Or
Witch
found
that
footage.
much because it just like they're boggled with the camera. Like
They
did not-
boggle.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't know.
As above, so below.
Is that really totally found
Absolutely.
footage.
Yep.
I mean, certain
There's
shots
some very
are
unlikely
not,
shots
yeah,
that
exactly.
would be found footage.
I'm like, that's why I
So.
don't really. I mean, there's certain angles from a camera, but there is not all angles.
Okay,
from
all
a
right, fair
camera.
enough. So overall, you're not a huge fan of found footage.
Correct.
Okay, interesting. All right, Andrew, what about you?
Well, found footage in general,
Yep.
it's like 1 out of 3. I enjoy it when it's done right, but I feel like it's like 33% hit rate.
33.333333%.
Yeah, right
So,
there. 1 out of
okay,
everything is
automatically,
really good.
hitting that in baseball, you're a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, which I
fucking-
mean, I like it.
you
Like, I
nailed
feel
it.
like there's a lot of crap
My
out
dad
there.
used to say, you go
but
1
there's
for 3,
also-
you're a Hall of Fame.
There's some good found footage, especially Creep.
I am very high on this. This is one of my favorite subgenres. I love found footage. Yeah, Matt, what about you?
I think I like it more now than but I think that's because I found other movies that aren't like The Devil Inside, Witch Project. Honestly, even
Yeah.
I don't even mind the first Paranormal Activity. I thought that movie was good. I saw it in theaters, scared the shit out of me.
Love that movie.
And,
Actually, that movie scared me.
And I saw Quarantine and really scared the shit out of me.
Which is...
And I saw that before I saw Wreck. And then I watched Wreck, and I was like, oh, wow. Like, that was way fucking more intense.
Yep.
But I had a hard time with it for a long time because of just... I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I always thought the acting was shitty. The storylines were pretty shitty.
I think someone might agree with you on the acting.
Well, they were kind of cheap, like, stories. Like, Devil Inside, I remember seeing that in theaters and walking out of the theater, like... swearing, yelling, being like, I fucking can't believe they just fucking ended that fucking... Like, I was bullshit. And I remember being in a class in my senior year of high school, and someone brought it up because we were talking about it just in an open discussion, and I spoiled the whole movie for the class because I was like, I just saved you all fucking $12. That movie fucking sucks. Like, don't fucking go see it. I was so mad about it. But, like, it was just like... they just all had these kind of, like... I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it was like someone, like, the guy was writing a script, and someone was like, hey, like, pizza and beer down at fucking Main Street in 20 minutes? The guy's like, yeah, they all die in a car crash. All right, yeah, I'll be right there. So, like, and, like, it just pissed me off. So, I never really thought the original Blair Witch Project was, like, that fucking crazy.
Same.
Wow.
But I also, in the juxtaposition of that, I saw Cannibal Holocaust at a really young age, and I was like, wow, this is fucked up. Like... But that was fucked up. Like, that was full-blown, full view of fucked up shit. And so I was like, this is a fucking horror movie. Like, and that's the grandfather found footage movie. And then you get to... Blair Witch kind of revamped it. And then I think Paranormal Activity was the really, really, really good big one.
Yeah.
And then we have... I think there's a handful of other ones, like, low-key, like Lake Mungo... Lake Mungo, it's just like, it's funny, and then you have Wreck, it's just like, oh, what do you know? The ones that are really good are fucking... So.
Yeah.
But I think I've grown to like some of these other ones that I just kind of had under my...
See, Blair Witch, for me, I know you said just always will scare me. I feel like it's just the ultimate exercise in tell, don't show. Just like...
Yeah,
I
don't think it's a bad movie, but it's just like...
It does more with less than I feel like movies.
It has, for me, it has zero rewatch value. Like, I'm just like,
okay,
all right. The first time I was like, wow, but it's like I can say the same thing about like Paranormal Activity. I'm like, it's
Yeah,
like
I
think
really
that's
like
the
the
downfall
For me,
of found footage.
I feel like it's nostalgic.
I get that. I think, but that's the downfall for me of found footage is like it really is all captured in the first time you watch, and that's why I think Cannibal Holocaust holds the fucking trophy. Because every time you see that movie, it's just, you're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
So those are my thoughts on it.
Fair enough. Anyone else want to say anything else before we talk about this movie specifically?
I mean, we're talking about found footage. Like,
Yeah, let's
don't sleep on the last broadcast that may have come out before Blair Witch, may not have. Came out the same year.
It did, because we talked about last broadcast last
and
year.
It's
it's
underrated.
It's a very good movie.
I think it's like 90s.
It's a few years before Blair.
And they started it well before that, but...
And I love that it's about a cryptid. It's about the Jersey Devil, which...
I think every found footage should be about a cryptid. I'm just going to say. Like, I think it do like a found footage of, like, the Mothman.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that'd be dope. I love the Mothman. That's a different podcast. Anywho, guys, all right, so we calling this Wreck or record?
Wreck.
Okay, let's call it Wreck. So, Wreck, 2007.
What about Reek?
This is the original movie we're covering on the
Reek?
first episode of the show. Not Reek from Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Nope,
Reek. I mean, Reek.
Nope. It's Wreck.
He's brushed off
As
the
in
shoulder.
you press the record button on your VCR or your camera.
Hold on.
Yep.
Record.
That's yep.
Reek.
Record. No, but we're not gonna.
Record.
Yes, like records.
Yeah, but we're not talking about records. We're talking about.
We all said it
recording.
differently.
In this case, we're talking about a Spanish film crew that records a unfortunate series of events starring Lemony Snicket and a bunch of zombies in an apartment building. And it is a fucking scary movie, I have to say.
This is what when I watched it today again, I think this is one of the scariest found footage ever.
So, I guess what I'll say about this, I hadn't seen it, I feel like, since it came out. And someone that I watched it with had a very different opinion of mine on this movie, which we'll get to. I'm excited to hear the rationale. But anyway, I didn't remember how loud this movie is. Yeah. Very, very loud. I feel like sound plays a huge part in the scares. Like, everyone is screaming the entire movie.
But then you get these nice
There's
little
people
cuts.
falling from the ceiling, and there's fucking, like, all kinds of weird shit. Like, there's a ton of noise. That's a huge element.
Calamity.
And then the end happens, and yeah, there's some shit in there that'll fucking fuck you up. Yeah, so that's what I'll say for now. Where were we?
I was saying, I think this is definitely, like, it's got to be in the top 3 of this.
Okay.
It's extremely well
I'm not
done.
going to argue with you.
It's one of your classic, like, you got like 5 or 6 people stuck in one environment.
Claustrophobic.
Let's see what happens,
Yeah.
and go with that. Like, extremely well done.
Classic
It's all
story.
very. It seems very realistic in the found footage aspect of it. Like, it's very believable, which I like about it. Like, they do a great job of selling that point.
It just
and it just starts, and it's just like, and you never feel like you're watching a movie in it.
I hate all of them, but that's
All
fine.
right, let's hear it. What do you got?
No. Let's let Andrew finish.
Before you go,
finish.
This movie feel like prescient to you at all? Like current? Like it made you feel like current events?
No, it's just a zombie movie.
But all zombie movies you can potentially say.
Yeah, they all have pandemics that they lead from.
Of
So
course.
that's not.
Yeah. And also, you have The Last of Us right now, which The Last of Us is about a pandemic as well. So there's a lot of stuff like that out there right now. Sure is. Why do you? Anyway, Andrew, continue.
No, I thought it was very well done. Great acting, good storyline, good practical effects, gross deaths.
Yeah, a lot of very good practical effects. The gore in this was very strong.
And they took a very basic story, and they just did it very eloquent and perfectly. Like,
It's very small. A small
It was
scale.
just limited. They knew what they had, and they worked with it, and they did a great job. And also, I mean, the reporter girl's a big.
I thought also it was a good reason to have the camera rolling at all times. That's a film crew, which is an essential part for me for found footage. Because if there's a stupid reason for the cameras to be rolling, it takes me out of it.
I thought the exact same thing when I was rewatching it today. I was like, they need the light.
Yeah,
the camera has to be on. They have
especially
to look
the ending, the light, and then the infrared or the night vision.
And even when they tell them to turn it off, they do turn it off for a slight second. Then it shows up on the floor, or they like rewind it. They do a very They do a great job of keeping it very real. Like, this never feels like it's like a staged movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Other than the
Cat's
monsters.
here to fucking kick us all in the dick.
Yep.
I thought the news reporter so annoying the entire time.
Well, she's a news reporter. That's their job.
No, she was like, I couldn't get past her. I feel like because she was so annoying the entire time and was like tarring the can. The way that everyone was just, you don't belong here, and she's no, film this. You better fucking film this.
We have
and
a
it was
right
just
to
like,
be here.
oh my god, it was so annoying. Like, I feel like it was just chatter the entire time.
Well, that's their job.
I get that's their job, but it was just like, it was dumb. And then like.
Boo.
You know, then the guy falls from the ceiling and they're like down on the ground and they're like, oh my god, let's check if he has a pulse. He doesn't have a fucking pulse. He just
But he did,
dropped
though.
from like 4 stories
He
up.
actually-
He did, because he was
survive.
alive
He
till he was in
survived
the other
that.
room.
He survived that. Yeah.
That was the fireman with like the curly hair. He was still alive. So what's your next useless point? Boo.
I thought that I just felt mostly annoyed more than I actually enjoyed the movie. I feel like I was just annoyed constantly by, it was like some character, like at any given moment, or like I felt like this whole movie was just annoying. Like it was just
some character at any given moment was just being a character.
Everything was just annoying. I was like, They said don't go in. This is a fucking police. I get they're following the firefighters at night, but at some point there has to be some sort of confidentiality breach and or something. Like, that would never happen. Like, this whole thing would never happen.
Have you paid attention to this country for the last 2 years?
Okay, I mean, sure, maybe, but
this would 100% happen.
Where does this take place? In Spain?
Barcelona.
Barcelona, yeah.
Spain. Yep.
So, sure, it could potentially happen. Great.
This could happen up the street.
Obviously, this is an extreme example.
They're like, oh, let's go back up the stairs when we know that there's, like, terrifying things going on upstairs. And, oh, okay, sure.
Here's what I would have done. I would have found a room and locked myself in there.
Exactly.
And then
the
the
only
movie's
thing
over.
I have to say
for
all of these, like, common sense things you have.
It's a horror movie.
I know, it's a
You
movie.
announced your favorite is Slash.
Right.
Is that not the ultimate?
Oh, it is.
That's what they do the whole time.
Are you in here?
We're not leaving. Yes, we
I
should
think I
leave.
just thought that you guys would pick a better movie.
Wow.
It didn't. It was a
Kat, this is like
movie.
you're picking.
You're insulting Matt right now. Matt picked
It was a
this.
crappy
Kat,
movie,
this
Matt.
is essentially.
I'm sorry you
This
didn't
is
like
like
it.
the picking Scream for slasher movies of found footage.
I get it.
Wreck
And you
is
guys
like
don't like my
the premiere.
opinions all the time.
So
I
you,
agree
but
with
you
that.
like
That's
Scream.
okay. Right.
You know what?
You don't like
you are
this
right,
movie.
though. You're right.
I like
No,
terrible
I like
movies,
that
and
you.
also
I
hate
like that
good
you have
movies.
your opinion and that you hate it.
Yeah.
Because it's like every once in a while we gotta have something be like.
Someone's gotta
Well,
be
yeah.
fucking blows.
No, this movie sucked. I want my time back from watching this movie.
It was, I mean, what was
hated
that? 83
Which
minutes?
it was the shortest movie we've watched on this pod. It was an hour and 20 minutes.
That was the same length as the episode
hated
3 of the last.
Yes, it was the same exact length.
I hated
literally.
it. I hated it. I was like watching it, and I wasn't even on my
Have you-
phone.
have you
like
seen
I
it
was
before?
actually no. I
Have
don't.
you seen Quarantine?
Well, hold on. I thought I saw this when I first. I said to Mike, I was like, I feel like because I was like, it's the little girl. There's
That's
some
because you
little
saw
girl.
Quarantine. You saw Quarantine.
Okay.
Now I remember. Matt's absolutely.
There's a chick from Dexter.
American remake.
What?
In Quarantine.
Oh.
Dexter's sister.
I forget her name. It's Jennifer
Carpenter.
Yeah, I immediately was like, did I? It's the little girl the whole time. And then, like, she goes back, hey, if you're here for 15 minutes with tonsillitis, like...
The fact that it took these people this long to realize that it was...
It just made me so
like,
mad.
Like you have the
There were
reporter
so many things.
talking to the little girl so close to her face, and you're like, you're being locked in here because they think it's some sort of a virus in this building.
But
And
then
you're
they
like,
find
let's
out.
all make
well,
out.
To me, that's what makes the story so fucking good. Is because you have all these people locked in, and you have all the information is presented throughout the fucking dialogue, and it's just okay. Now we know it's salival. Next thing you know, it's, we had a report that someone's dog was brought in and it was acting, a bit strange, and it went into a coma, and when it woke up, it was unspeakably aggressive. And she goes, was the dog's name Max? And then you go,
Yep.
You look at these two fucking people and you're like, your kid's sick. That was your dog. Like, what the fuck? So, and then that's when the shit hits the fan.
Before all that, they were being racist. They were blaming the Chinese people for everything. Before
Right.
that, right?
And they wouldn't let them like bring their father down because they were like, she was like, well, he's fucking sick.
He's
and she's
upstairs.
like, fuck you.
Oh,
your
what
kid's
if
sick.
he's the whole thing? Like, fuck you, absolutely.
Yeah.
But actually,
Well, what these people should have done is all quarantine in their own apartment.
Yeah, of course. But hey, because couch
Now that we
quarterbacks,
know what
you
to
never
do in a
know.
pandemic, Andrew,
Right?
they didn't necessarily know at that time.
Hey, so good time to inject a little bit of trivia here. So, funny. So you think when you're watching this, the actors don't have any idea what's going on. That's because the actors don't have any idea what's going on because they were never given a script entirety for the
That's
entire
pretty sick.
movie. when they were
So they
acting.
just have like crazy people come
It's all
at them and
improv?
attack
Wow,
them.
that's like Murderville.
Yep, none of them knew about their characters' fates.
very Curb Your
Sometimes not until the
Enthusiasm.
day they were actually filming
Yes,
their
100%.
scenes. This means the actors were more often than not stressed, nervous, and apprehensive on the day of film. Ideal qualities for the film itself.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's
absolutely.
what a
Yep.
great idea.
Smart stuff. Yeah, and sometimes all it takes is just a novel concept and a smart filmmaker to make something that is spooky. And I know you hated it, Kat, but I mean, some of the jump scares in this are fucking killer.
They're great.
Go ahead.
Sorry, side note. Has anyone watched Murderville?
No.
On Netflix?
No.
Okay.
Oh, I watch it with you. Yes.
You watch it
It's funny. It's
Choose
funny.
or Die?
Yeah, it's funny.
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
it's like Choose or Die.
Is it terrible?
No, it's not. It's
My
not
God,
like Choose or Die.
do I love that? That's what you're known
But-
for. Holy fucking motherfucker.
Can you? Since someone else watch Choose or Die?
Yeah,
Please?
I'll watch
because,
it tomorrow.
I
I'll watch
just
it
want
tomorrow.
someone
Don't.
else to understand this. But no, Murderville. It's not scary, but it's they usually bring a celebrity on, so it's Marshawn Lynch. Friggin-
Random.
The last person I would have ever expected
This
you
is
to
a show
be
with
the
Marshawn
first name
Lynch.
drop. Yeah.
Conan was on it. There's like random celebrities in there, and they're pretty much on this show without a script. Everything is so they have this whole thing set up, and like Marshawn. So like the entire time, like someone else has a script, and they're going through the whole thing, and it's just like whatever he comes up with on the fly is like what it is. So they're trying to figure out like a murder mystery, obviously, and they're like setting you up. Like they send you somewhere and they send somewhere else, but you're like, oh, you're a police trainee for the day, whatever, and we have to go to this detective murder, like this like thing or whatever.
Improv acting.
It's all improv acting. It's amazing though. It's like it's actually pretty good. It's on Netflix.
Sounds more
And
comedy.
Marshawn Lynch.
It is.
it
It's
funny?
more comedy. Yeah. It's funny. Yeah. It's not. Yeah. It's not a.
Sounds good.
It's not scary.
Marshawn Lynch just threw me for a fucking loop.
I know.
It's like
right?
of all the people you could have like name dropped first, that
Yeah.
I want like 382 million times out of 382 million, that would have been the last person I.
Really? Oh, that's funny.
I don't know. It's random.
I love football.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it's awesome. I watched that, and I think even last episode with that Glass Onion. Those are both not
Yeah,
scary
Sarah's
things,
big
but
on. She just watched Glass Onion.
Yeah.
She can't stop.
It's good, but yeah, it was just.
Oh yeah, it's a
And
funny show.
he said it was funny that I named Marshawn. Just
That was the
one of
first name she dropped.
celebrities.
I was just like, that's the last person I would have expected you to say.
That's who she is.
And Conan.
Conan O'Brien, yeah, absolutely. He was actually a good guest star in that. He was actually pretty.
It wasn't even that like that's the name I would expect you personally to remember, but just the fact that that's like a
Did I know
person
who
on
that
it.
is?
Like yeah.
Oh, that's
no,
funny.
No, just that it's a person on it. It's just like
Yeah,
wow, like
that
that's
is funny.
random.
So before we keep going here,
Rambling on about
what's
Marshawn
your
Lynch.
favorite found footage horror movie, Matt? Quick.
Oh man,
If you had to pick one, or top two,
it's
top
got to be
two.
Cannibal Holocaust.
Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah.
You talked about that. Kat, what about
I
you?
feel like
Minus the animals.
did I like Body Bag?
That's anthology.
anthology.
That's not
Oh
found
shit.
footage. Body Bags was good. You did like that, though.
I did like Body Bags. I was like, why did I think it's so close? January, February. It's like almost.
I mean,
There's
kind
not a
of.
lot of holidays.
It is technically
they
still
connect.
January.
They
Winter.
connect.
It's they're next to each other.
They're like a second apart.
Right. I think I have to go with
That might have been the best call I've ever had in my life.
That was good.
Wow. Okay.
found footage. I don't think I have a favorite found footage. I don't like.
It's not Blair Witch. Not something else.
Blair Witch solely because it was my
Andrew, one
maiden
for me,
name
too.
before. Like
Same.
Blair.
I mean, sorry. Blair Witch is a fucking great movie. You guys are insane if you don't like Blair Witch.
I will say
will say,
I really do also like Paranormal. The
I
first
like,
one.
I would like that.
Paranormal
more than
Activity is
Blair Witch,
great.
I think.
I'll take the
That would be
conspiracy,
scary as
creep,
fuck.
and creep 2.
All right. So now that Princess is here, real quick.
Who the fuck
That's
is
not
Princess?
me,
You,
by all means.
you.
It's Andrew.
Should we talk about 2007 horror? We've talked about it a few times before because there have been a few movies that have come out this year that we've actually talked about. But let's see. First important movie, or actually, first movie I should say that we talked about, 30 Days a Night.
Oh,
Great
I
movie.
love that with Josh Hartnett.
Yep.
My favorite vampire movie.
You love Josh Hartnett. And we did that a couple of winters ago. That was a good episode. That was fun. That's a
really
scary
like that
fucking movie. It's awesome.
It's a
It's
hardcore
great.
fucking vampire.
Yeah, it sure is.
God.
Scary vampires. Also, 28 Weeks Later came out in 2000. That's a good sequel.
I was gonna
It's
say-
an underrated sequel.
Didn't Paranormal Activity?
Very well may have. See in a
The
second.
Descent.
We have 1408,
Did that come out?
John Cusack
No,
and
it was-
Samuel
it was
L. Jackson.
09,
Stephen King adaptation.
I like that one.
Also have, let's see, Aliens versus Predator, Requiem. Nope, poo-poo. Let's see what else we have here. Black Swarm.
Do that.
Hold keys. Dead Silence, a James Wan movie that's underrated.
Is that the puppet movie?
Puppets.
R-rated
and,
Goosebumps?
Yep, sure.
I didn't mind that movie. That one was.
That was pretty. Let's see, what else?
2007's got a lot of fucking movies, huh?
Yeah, a lot
A
of
lot of
trash.
trash.
We have the Rob Zombie Halloween,
I like that movie.
which is actually not
I actually
bad.
thought that
It's
one
actually
was
not
pretty
horrible.
good.
That
violent is all fucking
it's certainly Hostel Part 2 from Eli Roth.
Trash.
enjoyable. No? Yeah.
I don't like Eli Roth.
Here's
movies.
the worst movie of 2007.
weirdness.
It's I Am Legend movie. That movie sucks.
That's a boner.
Stinks out fucking. He smacked.
Other than Independence Day.
Catherine, Lake Placid 2. Man, I'm
I mean, it was Chris Rock kind of.
Chris Rock is way cooler than
that was a bitch.
I agree.
Oh, dude, no, I'm saying I think Chris Rock is way cooler than Will Smith.
Yeah.
Will Smith's a loser.
Will Smith
kidding me?
sucks. I hate that weirdo.
Lake Placid 2, Cat.
Oh, good.
Ever seen the second one?
I feel like there's a bunch of
Mist. The Mist.
Oh, classic.
I mean, that's
easily the best movie this year.
it's got to be up there, right? Let's
A
see.
guy
what else
from
we
my
got.
work recently just watched this. He loves talking to me about horror movies, and he watches a lot of like really shitty ones, which is fun to talk to him about because he just loves it. He loves that they're just that dumb, like, just one of those people that the stupidity of them.
Yeah.
But he watched The Mist going into it, thinking it was going to be like really fucking dumb, which I get that.
I would have assumed that too.
mistaken,
Yeah.
And he was like, "Geez, man." He was like, that was heavy." I was like,
yeah?
yeah, dude. I was like, yeah, you walked into a full of fucking bear traps on that one, dude.
I love that movie.
I do
That's
too. It's
true.
great. The novella is fantastic.
Oh, I forgot. You know what I watched again Sunday? Thinner.
Oh yeah.
I fucking love that. I can watch that movie all the time.
You know who the actor is that plays the main character in that? Robert John Byrne. Let's see.
That's correct.
Let's
That's
got
correct.
The Orphanage, which was on Shudder's 101 Scariest Horror Movie Moments.
I haven't seen
The Orphanage.
That's the Spanish one. Yeah.
Got the first Paranormal Activity, and then also here's a movie we haven't really talked about a lot. Quentin Tarantino's Grindhouse, which was technically two movies. Planet Terror.
I just got that on Blu-ray last week.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I love that. Have you guys seen this movie?
I've never
Oh,
actually watched that movie.
Dude,
that was when I kind of hated
need to
Quentin
watch this
Tarantino, and then I
movie.
should have watched it.
Yeah, this is a movie that you would fucking be. I wouldn't be surprised if this immediately becomes a movie of all time.
I didn't watch that.
Yeah,
I don't know why I haven't.
the movie's fucking insane.
Putting it on the list.
So also in 2007 we got the Poughkeepsie tapes.
I
Ever
hate
seen
that
that?
movie? That's a found footage movie.
Sure is. We haven't covered it. We got another Pumpkinhead movie. We got The Reaping. We got Wreck, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. We got Saw 4. I know. We might be done. We also got... Let's see. What are all these movies? Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
there's
Yeah, a lot of
cool.
trash. Species, The Awakening, Stir of Echoes, The Homecoming.
I thought that was
gross.
like 99.
Teeth. Trick or Treat in 2007. I forgot about that one. That was 2007 movie. We covered that in the show. If you want to go back, let's see. My God, this is all garbage. Yeah, bunch of shit. Bunch of old poo poo. But yeah, it's 2007 and horror for you. So yeah, guys, what else do we want to talk about in terms of? I know one thing I want to talk about. Wreck. What did you guys think about the twist at the end when they got up top about the fact that the whole thing was like a demonic
From the guy in Madrid?
zombie as opposed to a zombie thing?
Well, that's what they changed.
I don't even know. I remember I saw Quarantine when it first came out. I don't remember that.
No, isn't it Wreck 2? Isn't that the one you're talking
Well,
about?
no, I think in Quarantine it just is like a rabies virus that like concocted.
Okay. Do you feel like that would have been a more appropriate ending for this, or did you like the fact that it was
For me,
demonic type shit at the end?
So for me, it was more realistic. That it was like a biological.
Yeah.
But this is scary.
I like the supernatural.
Yeah,
element,
it's
personally,
a scarier thing. The last 10 minutes of the movie are fucking chaos. There's so much going on. But that's what I was saying earlier. Is like when I was watching it today, and how they're using the camera as a flashlight, of being able to see.
Yep.
I immediately was like, what a smart way to just ixnay the fucking idea of being like, why the fuck are you even holding the camera? Yeah. Because they have to. That's the only way they can see it.
Well, also,
smart
reporter
writing.
was screaming at him, record fucking everything
Right?
the whole
I know.
time.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to fuck up.
Well, that's what I'm like. But there's
But even that that's good enough for me because you have a TV reporter.
It was smart
who's
writing.
They did a phenomenal job. That's one of the best ways of utilizing that aspect of it.
Yeah, just crossing off any of the fucking things that people could be like, well.
Because there's a lot of times, like you said in those found footage, who the fuck's why?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, that's one of the biggest obstacles for found footage. Why is this? What is the motivation for this right now? Like, obviously, what's happening in front of me is horrifying. Why are they still recording instead
I'm
of helping.
curious to ask that question with Outwaters.
Yeah, I mean, I know. All I know about the premise for this movie is that they're going into to film like a music video. That's the premise. That's all I know. I haven't seen any trailers. I don't know anything else about it. I'm so excited.
I'm expecting Blair Witch meets Event Horizon.
The next found footage is just going to be like a sequence of TikTok videos that someone made.
Yeah, actually. Well, that would
you know what?
Make sense.
Host is the closest one.
Is that
that
what
Megan is Missing movie is a sequence of conversations.
All right.
Yeah. And then finally it turns into an actual like the last like probably 30 minutes is handheld camera that got left in it. Yeah.
It happened.
Just a couple more things about the actual acting movie. So no one knew when that fireman fell essentially out of the sky, like down the stairs, on the floor. Nobody knew about it. That was all authentic. Goes with the theme.
Were people actually like biting each other in this movie? They're just like, fucking deal with it.
Yep,
fucking
absolutely.
See you later. Did it mash
But the actual last bits too, I guess, were shot in complete darkness.
That's horrifying.
The actions of the actors were all authentic because they were all in complete.
I'm terrified.
Yeah, I know
Absolutely
you are.
terrified.
Most are.
Yeah. Yep. So I mean, I it's definitely. I feel like it's not the most rewatchable movie. It's definitely a scary movie. I don't think.
Well, that's what I was saying
no
earlier.
Question about that.
It's just like found footage just has a hard time of like you get all these scares the first time.
Yeah.
And it's like if you can put in an element to a movie that is frightening every time, you nailed it. Lake Mungo has it. Paranormal Activity, I think, has it.
Yeah, I don't think Lake Mungo will ever scare me again the time I saw it.
But exactly. So,
yeah, you're right.
But there's an element to it that's scary. But like Paranormal Activity, there's a scene where she gets up and she stands next to and you see a time lapse. You guys sleep together. I sleep. I don't fucking know if that's gonna happen while I'm asleep. Like that's fucking wicked scary.
You don't know what she does while you're asleep.
Yeah, and so like, but that I remember watching that the first time I saw it in theaters and having her just stand next to the bed and she's just kind of like wobbling around. But you just see it's like hours are passing. Like Jesus.
I mean,
Christ,
do you want to
like,
move the owl?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Could you imagine that?
Oh my god, that'd be so
creepy.
Move the baby cam.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Weird. Wow, I could. That'd be.
Oh god.
I mean, if you were to look at it though, it's live stream. You'd have to look at it on your phone and then look up, and my face would be there.
Wow.
I mean, to be fair, like that would be really scary. That's like it's a really good. To be fair,
you're saying it. You're saying it, not me. I have to say.
Yeah. To be fair, I mean, yeah. If I were to walk around to the other side and you were to, and then look up and be like, "God!"
Yeah, true. So
super scary. Super scary.
By the way, Kat, the main character of the entire movie, Manuela Velasco, is actually a news anchor. By the way, yeah, that's so she's not. Acting.
Wow, so this
she's
must have been
doing
like a
her
big.
thing.
This must have been a big thing in Spain. So.
I bet. Yeah. It sounds.
I mean, it's one of the most. I feel like it's one of the most famous found footage movies of all time. It's
Dude,
not even close.
this movie
No, I mean,
this is 100%.
No, it really
what are you
is
even
definitely
talking
one
about?
of the most popular.
Yeah.
Jeez, Kat, your
Directed by
opinions suck.
Jaume
So
Balaguero and
You gotta
Paco
remember.
Plaza.
Good opinion. 2 thumbs way down for Kat's
Way,
opinion.
way down.
This is bad press for the
Yeah.
foreign movie uprising.
I can't believe you. I can't believe you didn't like. I just think you can't believe you didn't like this movie.
Why? She was super annoying. She was just like talking, and I'm just like.
She can't get past the main character.
I knew, and I understand a decent amount of Spanish, so I'm like listening to her as she's talking.
You have subtitles.
Everything I know, but I'm watching her talk, and I'm just.
You don't
like,
have
oh my
to
God,
listen to
you're
her
So
read.
annoying. Like
You
she
could
was
watch
so
this movie with
annoying.
headphones in.
Or I could just.
You could just record yourself talking and then listen to that and then tell me if you.
No.
Oof. All right.
Oof. Sorry. Well,
It's getting hostile.
it's a good movie. I don't know why you hate this movie. Yeah, it's so weird.
Hey,
Kat and Andrew hate each other, so
we're not gonna love them all.
listening to them bicker with each other actually is like
sometimes
fun.
we hate each other, and some. That's
Yeah, then you guys can go watch Winnie the Pooh and eat
What are you
fucking
talking
cookies
about?
again.
Yeah, right.
pretty much, and play Scrabble. That's what
there you
we.
go.
That's what we like to do.
And
Watch
me and
Winnie
Matt
the
can
Pooh
play
and cookies
GoldenEye, and you guys can
play
watch
I want to play
Okay.
Golden.
All right, guys, do we have anything further to contribute on Rec?
That's all I got.
I
Well,
have
Matt-
given my tribute.
You have contributed to your tribute, yes. And Matt, looking for Outwaters this week. Can't wait to talk
I'm
about it
fired
next
up.
week with you. Andrew, Kat, say goodbye to your listeners before Matt and I do. You're waving. Nobody can hear that. That's the sound of Kat's hair flapping around. Way to go, loser.
Buenos nuevos.
All right, Matt.
Good night.
We'll talk to you soon. A good evening.
Adios,
And
muchacho.
goodbye.
Oh, buenas noches.
Buenos
Darkness
nachos.
falls.
This is good evening, right?
Hey everyone, it's Mike from America's Hometown Horror, and just wanted to say thank you again for listening to another episode of our show, because of course, we would be nothing without you listeners. If you are interested in more local Plymouth podcasts, I would highly recommend you check out some shows by our cohorts on the Inebriart Podcast Network. That's right, the Inebriart Podcast Network, folks. In addition to America's Hometown Horror, you can find the Inebriart Podcast, Bar Talk, Theme Park Legends, Retro Redoctopus, and Old Colony Cast. Head on over and give them a listen.